what he has placed now. If he wants it in a miraculous way, let him do it, but let us confirm in the clinic. I think people that go for faith healing should realize that it requires also a follow-up with the clinicians, because it is also in God's will to do that. People that have been told to take certain things, as long as it is not prescribed by the people that have been trained for it, it's useless. For instance, the rumors about salt, it's useless. It does not carry any scientific basis. Bitter cola, it's useless. It does not carry any scientific basis. And the people that are in the science are people that God has given intellect and intelligence to do these things.
People are also looking for some sort of thing to hold on to as a cure.
You know, some elderly woman calls me, an auntie of mine calls me, and she has taken this salt thing that went through the night and woke up and is bathing and is asking, oh, they have been taking this salt, I don't know what to do. Do I combine with my antihypertensives? And I said, who asked you to do that? He said, that's what they said, that we should do it. They woke us up in the night. And I said, well, why didn't you call me? She said, well, since at least it's only ordinary salt, she said she should just take it. I think that those people that initiated those messages are extremely wicked, and they are mischievous people who just wanted to play a prank. Unfortunately, it went viral. There is no scientific basis for all of this. I do know that, some scientists had ever mentioned that there was a research going on with bitter cola, and that in vitro, and that is in the test tube, it had shown some antiviral effect. But that has never gone anywhere as far as research is concerned. And it is just like saying that I took a lot of water and I felt better, and then you now say everybody, for every illness, go and take a lot of water.
Let's understand another part of this. Right now we have over 100 under surveillance. We have 10 infected people and 2 confirmed dead. Now we're wondering, those infected, what's the ultimate destination? Because now we don't have a cure. What's happening to them? How are they being treated?
Usually, once you have somebody that has, any infection that has affected the systems, what you try to do is put the person on supportive treatment when you don't have the cure for that ailment. And by supportive treatment is ensure that the person is well hydrated, ensure that the person is properly fed either by IV fluids or whatever, ensure that the blood pressure is controlled, just supportive therapy, and the disease will take its course. And the outcome for this is either it will progress to death, or as the person is supported, the disease will burn out.
The reaction is individual.
Yes. And we still do not understand exactly all the factors that contribute to mortality or to somebody surviving. But these are things that research is actively ongoing. We do know that there are therapeutic agents that are being tried, that are ready to go to clinical trials. The way drugs are developed is, first of all, there's a theory, a test tube, animal studies, then human studies. And once it gets to human studies, you now look for safety, for efficacy, etc. of whatever you are trying. For these agents that are anti-Ebola, they have not yet gone into human trial first. So we're looking forward to when at least some form of human trial will take place, then it will be available. We're aware that, the United States has already made those trial drugs available. But, we desire that it would be provided. And the Federal Ministry of Health, I believe, the minister did mention the efforts that he's making to ensure the best care is available, even for those that are infected here in Nigeria already that have tested positive. But you will also understand it from the perspective of the Americans, in the sense that what happens if we give this trial drug and something happens, it does not work in this? The repercussions may come back on us. So it's a delicate discussion that is ongoing. But my take is that as long as it has some benefit and the pros and cons have been explained to the patients, it should be made available to them just as it was made available to the Americans. So we are hoping that we'll reach to that level, but we're still not there.
Okay, please hold on with that thought. When we come back after the break, we're still with Dr. Patrick Dakum, the project director of Institute of Human Virology. We'll come back with more on this and, of course, explaining what this is all about. Join us again after now. Welcome back. We're still with Dr. Patrick Dakum. Thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you.
We're still on this issue of the Ebola virus, of course, an epidemic that has claimed almost 1,000 lives across about 3 countries. Let's continue now with the US. They discovered a trial drug that currently is being used on 2 patients, but they're not ready to share it with West African countries. But that aside, we now understand that clinical trials have begun for a preventive vaccine that could see the light of the day in 2015. What exactly is this all about?
You know, Ebola is not new in the sense that it didn't just break out today. It was discovered in 1976. And between that time and now, a lot of research has been ongoing. Now, from the groups that have been involved in the research, I understand that, you know, therapeutic vaccines, these are vaccines that can be used for prevention and for treatment, have been on trials. We normally start with a test tube trial, you know, in vitro trials. Before it goes into animal trial, then it goes into clinical trial. When it's ready for clinical trial, it means it is now ready to be administered to humans. Now, those candidates, vaccines, are in that stage of being tried in humans. Now, being tried in humans means if it is successful, meaning it is shown to reduce any incidence of new infection, and if it is therapeutic in the sense that it is shown to result into recovery for those who have the virus and clear the virus from the blood, then of course it can be available for widespread use. But for now, it is just about to be tried in human beings. You know, once you have a drug that you are still trying as clinical, you are not going to be very eager to begin to make it available to the whole world. And probably those could be the reason why we do not have a yes so far from the US government. However, I believe with what the Minister of Health is doing, and that's a constant dialogue with the American authorities, the Center for Disease Control, and also with the relevant bodies, NIH, etc. in the US, probably they will come to an understanding. It has to do with ethics, it has to do with a lot of consideration before you will take something that has not been tried in human beings and make it available to other people. If suddenly they bring the drug and something happens to somebody, you can imagine the kind of negative publicity that will take. Meanwhile, it could have happened anywhere. But like I did say, this is something that the Federal Ministry of Health is discussing with the US government, and we'll probably see the light of day. My personal opinion, I believe that as long as it is being administered to anybody anywhere in the world, it should be administered to every other person that is in a similar situation. Because it's better get something that has a possibility of working than getting nothing at all.
Let's see your perspective now on Nigeria still holding on to its trans-border policy. Right now, the borders are still open, and there's no saying if anybody could just walk into Nigeria or come into Nigeria with one thing or the other. No, of course I know the search is intense and all of the screening and all of that. What's your view about this policy?
You know, because Ebola is transmitted from a sick person, it is not transmitted from somebody that looks normal, okay? Even if you do have the virus, if you are not exhibiting symptoms yet, it is very difficult for you to transmit it to another person. It means then that until it has reached such a large scale, before it will require closure of borders. But for now, I believe what is going on is adequate to be able to isolate potential cases and then investigate them further, rather than closing the border when you do not have a major, numbers that will warrant that. I'll give you an example. I traveled and came back a few days back on last Monday morning, and immediately we came from a British Airways flight from London. We all came. Before the immigration, there were 4 healthcare workers standing in front, and before you approach immigration, you queue up in front of one of those 4 health workers. And I'm like, oh, so what's going on? And they are ensuring that anybody that has a fever is isolated for more detailed check. So somebody behind me, typical impatient that we are, why are they doing all this kind of thing? I turned around and looked at the lady. I said, Madam, is it not better for us to wait and get checked like this than for Ebola to enter this country? I believe that, the checks that are going on to isolate potential cases is adequate for the level that we are. However, we do not pray that it gets more than that. If the numbers rise more than that, I believe the authorities will take more drastic action that will just curtail movement completely. If we are, by the grace of God, able to contain the contacts of these index cases, like I did say, our next level will be to ensure that we do not have a new case that is infectious coming in.
So are you, from what you've seen so far, are you optimistic about a cure for the Ebola virus?
I'm optimistic about a cure because this is a disease that can affect the whole world. It means then that the global community will be hands on deck to ensure that funding is available for research, subjects are available for research, and active research is going on. We probably, if we don't get a cure, we probably get a treatment, just like we have for HIV. We don't have a cure, but we have treatment. So if the pace at which the attention globally is going on continues this way, we sure will get to a treatment very quickly. A cure, I'm not very sure, but a treatment, yes. More so that the virus burns out and will disappear from the blood after some time. It means then that even a cure is a possibility.
Dr. Patrick Dakum, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now to your feedback. I have this tweet from Henry Orikbeloye, who writes from Ile-Ife in Osun State. He says, well, people are paying as much as 40,000 naira to have electric meters while it is free in some places. Why should it be so? Well, we have similar questions like that and many others on this issue. Thank you, Henry. And that's the much we have time for. Keep your views coming using the address and Twitter handle on your screen. And don't forget, you can view the program on youtube.com/channelsweb/videos. Make your comment after viewing the current video as well as all the episodes of the program. Thank you so much for watching this week. I'm Gloria Umezuke. See you again.